I've got only one rule on a rugby field for my players. Don't lose the ball. That's my only rule. Some players came to me from school and they would say, Coach, what do you want me to do? How the hell can you ask me a question like that? I want you to score tries.
Play.
And try score is the easiest thing on a Thursday because there's no opponents.
Ruckers, it's that time of the week again. It's Thursday, 6 p.m. You settling down for your number one rugby podcast. Guys, it's episode 91. Can you believe it? And Behind the Ruck is proudly supported by SuperSport Bet. Okay, make the switch to SuperSport Bet and get your skin in the game. Guys, I'm the short one. I am the round one. I am Paige. And next to me, my partner in crime.
Juan the Jongh in the house. Partner, good day, huh?
Fantastic,
episode 91, we freshed it up a little bit. Hey, Ruckers, did you see something new? We keep you guessing at all times, yeah? But yeah, exciting times for this episode, huh?
Boykie, look, a fantastic episode ahead. Another fantastic conversation with one of South African icons, South African Springbok icons, Coach.
Pepe's in the building, eh? I'm
exciting
nervous for
times.
this one, yeah.
Exciting times.
Hey, Ruckers, what we expect on Behind the Ruck. Okay, we're going to start off with our bounce player of the week, okay? We only had one team, and it's Billa in the house, okay? And then obviously we got a one-on-one meeting, okay, in his office with Coach Peter de Villiers, okay? He doesn't like it one-on-ones, but we got a one-on-one with our Coach Peter de Villiers in the house, so looking forward to that. And also at the end, back in time, one of these bad boys, it's time to get yours, okay? Last episode, you could have got yours, but it's your time now, and we'll cover that at the end there, okay? So sit back, huddle up, okay? It's time to get cracking indeed, yeah.
But before we get going with episode 91, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
I'm good.
What's life like?
It's been a while. You haven't checked in, man, just to see if I'm okay, eh? I'm good. Good to get out a bit with the family as well. Going to the Westkust a little bit, Paternoster.
Hey.
Kreef, jong. We loop daar rond, yeah. And the Ruckers loop ook daar rond, which is quite cool. Just to get out a little bit, because life is busy with everything that's going on, especially my personal life. It's sometimes just to take it easy, woosa a little bit and calm it down. So I'm all good. And yourself, partner?
No, the same. I finally had a weekend that I think I needed with the family a little bit. Look, we're young adults and we're ambitious and you want to work hard and you want to create a better life for your family and for yourself. So finally had a bit of time on the couch.
Hey, voeten op.
Voetjies in die lug. Watched a lot of rugby this weekend. Saturday night, wifey left me alone. Yes, you know how lekker that was. Quiet house, on the couch, rugby. So absolutely fantastic. And Ruckers, I know he's going to laugh about this, okay?
What he's going to share?
I want to cut him out with this one. But I've also registered yet again.
Again?
Okay.
Another one.
At Stadio, online bit of studies, doing a certificate in management, partner. This is the part where I failed a lot in my life.
Yes.
Studying.
But it's showtime now, okay?
Yeah, and I'm hoping I can push through this time.
Yeah. Just get that photo finish, man. Just get the photo finish. I mean, if the result is good or bad, it's important to get the photo finish.
And I'm also trying, Pari, before we get to... I'm trying to lose my boopie. Obviously picked up a little bit of weight post-rugby. So I've tried to be on the watt bike a little bit. I'm doing a 6K walk every second evening.
And a bit of pumpy pump?
I'm trying, but I really want to improve my overall health. And yeah, the weekend has been great.
Okay. If you need I need a spotter, okay? Come help me, then we can work out together, okay? Indeed, yeah. Incredible weekend, but let's get to Bounce Player of the Week. Okay, guys, this is made just for you by BrightRock, the associate sponsor of the Vodacom Bulls and the DHL Stormers. And unfortunately, okay, Stormers at the rest, but we're on to the Bulls. Bounce Player.
Ruckers, Vodacom Bulls, Bounce Player of the Week. Goes again to the tight head prop. Wilco. Another one.
Sure.
But this week, my decision wasn't based on his performance in the scrum. No. Yes. He was fantastic in the scrum like he's always been throughout this year. But the moment that stood out for me was seeing Wilco delivering a perfect crisp scrum off pass off the base to the Bulls fly-off to clear for touch.
Wow, and you like that, eh?
I love
the technique. What was the technique?
He had his foot out, he planted his left foot, spiked the toe, and he delivered that ball with precision.
Finishing touches towards his target.
As I say, the Superman pose, he was staying there. So Volkolo, you're the bounce player this week for your scrum half pass, boyki.
Yeah,
Excellent, well done.
Yeah, Quadzilla in the house, yeah. And partner, and then it's Challenge Cup, okay, in the Investing Champions Cup, and our boss is actually in the Challenge Cup, and then looking at the results this past weekend on Friday, it was Edinburgh 24, Lions 12. Oof, come on, Lions. And then on Saturday, we had Bayonne 22-32 for the Bulls.
Yes. Happily, I was wrong, Rackers.
Yes,
we'll discuss it now.
Come on, backing them all the way. And then on Sunday, it was Lyon 34-22 to the Sharkies. The Sharkies, the B team. Just quickly on that first couple of games, let's start with the Bulls. Okay, very important with the Bulls. Ups and downs a little bit. Okay, they started well. They scored first half.
Beautiful try.
Yeah, beautiful try, yeah. And the way they scored, I mean, Zach obviously picking him around the corners as well. And you said it. Created a bit of space, especially for Scherzer Peterson that scored, yeah, and Ludwig as well. So I don't know if that was a plan or was it just, part of the.
I would think it was a bit of a plan because the size of French forwards, they're not as mobile as what we would find in the URC. So my thinking was planned to isolate them around the rucks. Ruckers, but I've said this obviously last week. I thought Bayonne would take the win.
Yeah,
and I'm extremely happy for the Bulls. Having a South African team in the quarterfinal.
You're going to apologize?
I want to apologize, but I think my frustration again comes in with not strength versus strength.
Oh, yeah. You expected the Animals to play the A team.
Last week, Paddy, when I made the prediction, I obviously took into consideration that it will be Bayonne's strongest side. And they've obviously, once the camera panned before the game and all of those boys were sitting in the stand, that is my frustration, but happy as a Bull supporter.
Yeah.
Happy for the fact that we're moving on to the quarterfinal. Maybe this is a realistic trophy that we can win.
And it makes it easier for you to get into the Investing Champions Cup if you do win it. Because they're defending champions.
But boyki, we there. Top 8, top 4, home semi-final.
Yeah, point taken.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but the trophy.
The trophy,
you need trophies as well. It's been a couple of years. Okay.
But yeah,
the Bulls' performance overall, I mean, it was good to see Cameron Hunter come back after a long injury list. I mean, Jan Hendrik Wessels, oh wow, he's playing fantastic rugby. Created a couple of things.
Fantastic athlete.
Yeah, coming off the bench. And then David Kriel, Mr. Consistent, like the debut order, season and even game for game as well.
You know, someone for me is that's played really good rugby the last month, 6 weeks, Stravino Jacobs. I'm really been impressed. I've been really impressed with the way that he's evolving. Look, fantastic ball carrier. Strong ball carrier. He bumps people. He gets over the game line.
Yeah, he's got that physical aura on him.
So he's really impressed me. And I'm going to be
honest as well after last weekend, Zebra.
But I'm going to be honest, Boyki, and I don't know why I feel like this, but when I'm currently still watching the Vodacom Bulls, I still don't feel like this polished team. Clinical.
Because you scored 2 tries, it's 17-0 maybe, and then a yellow card here, and then an offside here, and then
and in the last 10 minutes, the game can go either way.
Either way, yeah.
So that is still an extremely worrying factor for me when I look at the Bulls. But as a Bulls fan, as a Bulls at heart, I'm happy where we're at the URC, the lock. Obviously now the quarterfinals in the Challenge Cup. But as a rugby mind and a rugby analyst, the two of us currently in the space, there is aspects within our game that is concerning for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I know where you're coming from because looking at the 80 minutes, I can see why you're getting there. It looks like couple of minutes you feel like, oh, here we go, 20, 30 points. And the next couple of minutes, five points away. So it's always that in and out. But then also Edinburgh and Lions, because obviously if the Lions won that game, the Bulls would have travelled back. I don't know if they wanted to play there in the Europe or travelled back to South Africa.
Luckily the Lions lost.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing for the Lions. And now they can focus on, top 8 when it comes to URC. A week off can make a lot of good things, especially for you. I don't know where the Bulls are at, because are they playing the 8? Will they play the 8 team against this weekend coming up?
I think
because
so.
They've got Glasgow and Munster coming up. That is two big dogs.
I think Coach already rested the boys that has had a lot of game time. The likes of Ambrose coming off the bench. He's had a lot of game time. So Zach starting. Maybe this week go with full strength. trying to get to a semi-final, trying to get to compete for a trophy, and targeting one of those 2 games against Glasgow and Munster.
Maybe Munster, yeah, because Glasgow at home. It's a tough one, yeah. And they're looking pretty as well when it comes to Investing Champions Cup. And then the Sharkies playing a B team against Lyon. They started also like a house on fire. And that's where emotion gets you. Emotion gets you that first 20 minutes coming off the park. You know, I think they were like 2 tries up in the first 20 minutes. But then after that, it was just errors on errors. And it's line breaks. And it looks like an easy day for Lyon in the office. And then that's what you get when you don't play. Guys don't play often. Because they want to impress and they want to be, not selfish, but they're going off task.
But I don't know if you've been there in your career, but if you haven't played for a long time and then all of a sudden someone gives you opportunity...
You got to look after your plate first and not about what the team aura. So, yeah.
Which is natural, I think, right?
So 100%. Everyone wants to start as well, yeah. But it's a couple of good performances from a few of the boys. I mean, Tino was scored a fantastic...
He's good, eh?
Yeah. He's showing his worth, eh?
He's
and
good.
we got a couple of other boys that got his opportunity, which was good to see. But then the fixture for this weekend, okay, it's only one team that's in the quarterfinals. It's Edinburgh versus Bulls on Saturday, 1:30. You said A team. You said targeting
I think the Bulls beat Edinburgh. I think it's a URC team. We're accustomed to playing them. The Wilco against Piers Koeman is going to be a
matchup.
A massive matchup. Look, Wilco's form has been excellent, so I'm going to go with Wilco. And I just think we'll have too much in the tank for Edinburgh.
And then also the conundrum at number 10, you know, Keegan Johannes and Juan coming back playing the last 15 minutes last weekend.
Look, I would love for Keegan to continue in this way, get more game time. But if you look, Coach Jake bringing Johan back immediately after he's up.
Is it disruptive?
Up for that I wouldn't know. You must tell me as a coach, why would you disrupt the team or would you bring back experience in a quarterfinal?
I mean, his form currently was unbelievable when it came to Zebra, and he did a decent game as well when it comes to this past weekend. Maybe another time on the bench as well and give him a little bit 40 minutes than the 50 minutes of last weekend, or maybe 50 or 60 minutes would be a nice introduction for him. You don't know what form he's at. And I mean, Edinburgh for me is a classy outfit. So that's why I would go more against Edinburgh, you know, taking the W this weekend. And if that happens, it's about...
Interesting thing for me is Will Goose play on the 4G pitch? I know in the past he's complained about his knees on the artificial track. So that might be something that plays a part in selection there.
Yeah, so all the South Africans, let's get behind one team. It's the
Bulls. Let's go.
One team to support, And up next...
I'm nervous, Poiki.
I don't know, is it November?
I'm extremely nervous because he's an ex-Springbok coach.
Yeah, and I mean, what he's achieved, I mean, what he went through, highs and lows, it's incredible, and hopefully our Rackers can learn from it.
I hope they enjoy this conversation.
Let's enjoy it in detail. Hey guys, up next, Peter de Villiers.
Let's go.
Ooh, Rackers, we said, Paul, it's got more Springboks, okay, than police.
Yep.
But today, okay, we got a legendary Springbok, all the way from Paul, in the studio, Springbok coach Peter de Villiers. How's Coach doing?
For me, it was quite out of the blue when you called me.
It's been a while.
People forget you so quick in life.
No, not us.
People do forget you. People forget you so quick, and then you get used to it. And then when something like this happens, then you say, "Wow, maybe I'm still alive." You know? So by saying that, thank you so much for having me on your show, and I religiously following it. And I really appreciate it. What you guys are authentic. You know who you are.
Yes.
You don't care about people out there, and you are the best you that you can be. And I think all of us should take a page out of your lives and just to become ourselves more than become somebody else.
No, we appreciate it. Obviously, we started this to inform and educate, and obviously there's people out there, Rackers out there, that wants to know what's happening in Coach's life. How's Coach doing? How's the body? Coach, you looking fantastic for me.
Yes, Rackers, I must say, when Coach Peter walked in here, I felt absolutely ashamed in the way I look. For 68, am I allowed to say that, Coach? 68 years old. He looks absolutely fantastic. Coach?
What are we doing? Are we running? And are we...
I decided I'm gonna look after myself. So I bought myself a nice mirror.
Just to make sure everything's in place.
Yes.
Making sure the snorri key is all in place and everything is in place.
Yeah.
But Coachy, what is Coachy busy with these days? I mean, Coachy said now keeping fit is also part of it. How's things in general?
Life throw curveballs at that one. And it's not how you receive it, it's how you react and look at the opportunities, Any hit is a great hit. It all depends on how quick you can get to the base. And at this stage, I love to help coaches wherever they need it because of the experience that I do have about not only coaching, but the 12 specifics of their brains, how players think. People come to me for a lot of advice about players, children that they want to send to academies and all this kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of an academy because our academies doesn't serve our players. Our academy became a money-making business and they don't care about what next, where are we taking the player. For me, it's all about the success and plan. Whatever you do must be for the benefit of the guy that you're working with.
So Coach, is there a need for us to develop better academies then in our rugby? What Coach saying?
What I'm trying to say to you is that the academies that I think we in South Africa don't need academies. We're the best schools.
Yep.
And all of us who came through that was our academy. You can't live in a development stage. You can't live with people who are like-minded. You have to live with those who don't, with envy, who don't want to support you. You have to get through all those mental challenges that the game will pose to you when you get up there. But when you get early to academy, everybody needs to go practice. Everybody wants. Nobody is opposing nobody.
Sure.
And you're not developing our players holistically to react under circumstances where we need it the most when we get there.
Yeah, see that I love how Coach summed it up, eh? The mold that you need as a player to once you get to the big stage, then you properly prep for whatever. It's not just on the field; it's all the stuff off the field. Which is really cool. Rakkers, ons is weer ge-educate vandag, okay? You guys must put on your seatbelt and listen carefully. Coach Peter, the coaching side, do you miss it? Not.
No,
it's coaching done.
Not at all. I move on in life. I make the best of my time wherever I am. For 20 years, I was a teacher, and then I moved on to coaching. And I applied everything that I learned in school about people, about how to work with people, what their needs are, why do they react the way they do react. A lot of people don't react because they want to. A lot of people react because they're forced to. If you look at children at school, they will do bad things just to get your attention. And if you don't understand it, you miss that boy completely. You can mess up his whole life. Prodigal sons, we create that in schools and in churches.
Yes. And Coach, how do you're saying the let's say the naughty child in school, he does something to get the attention. Is there similarities to the rugby player and 100%. How the rugby player reacts to get something out of a coach? 100%.
Your middle child in a household is the most neglected one.
Coach, you would know.
Your middle child, you're the most neglected because everybody, the older one must look after everybody. The younger one is been spoiled.
Yep.
You in the middle is nowhere. Nobody listens to you. Nobody cares about you. You must just do what everyone needs to do. So now you do things just to get attention. Now, where's coaches? And that's why I never had one-on-ones. You can ask Juan. I never had one-on-ones because if I do have one-on-ones with players and I don't have with some players, then they feel, wow, you're out. So I will never. You're there to play rugby. When I call you for a one-on-one, you didn't do your job. That's the only reason why I call you. So now you must feel threatened. Wow, if he calls me, I'm close to being dropped now. And you can ask him. I never called them. And I know they didn't like it because the other coaches always called them in, spoke to them, but lied to them. Hey, you're right. You just need to work on this. You're in my plans, and then you sit on the bench again. You know, I can't live with those kind of things. So when as a Springbok coach, when I selected somebody, he proved that he was good enough to be there. I don't need to tell him. He must understand.
Coach is so honest that coach would rather take the space.
He must understand the environment and how to develop. I will only reach out to them if I see that those kind of traits are coming to the fore that hold them back, you know.
That coach didn't like. That's the only time.
No, the traits that hold them back.
Okay.
So for instance, he don't care about us. He don't. Then when I pick that up, and that is why I would never, when I was a coach, have a sports psychologist. Because a sports psychologist will give me a report. I get the feeling when I speak to the player. I don't need reports about people. People is not reports. And as a good leader in life, where we get it wrong, we're not destined to lead people. The more people who follow you doesn't make you a better leader. It actually makes you a worse leader. Because we are destined to lead purpose. And for me, it's my job. His gifting is not my gifting. So as a coach, if God gave me 3 measures of knowledge about the game, and I select him, and he got 5, who am I not to listen to him?
Fair enough.
Do you understand what I'm getting at? So he will see something different than me, and then he will come. Now, I want the environment where he can feel, hey, let me go to him and tell him, can we do this? Can we do this? And not the environment where they say, we must go do what he says we do. And that's why I know when to lead and I know when to take a backseat. Yeah. Players want you to be visible when they lose. Otherwise, they don't need you. But when you step forward when they win, they take a back step because they need to impress you. And coach, we will go. No, you just get yourself out of the way that they be themselves and celebrate with the people that support them more, their families, their friends, rather than be with you.
Yeah, and coaches as a coach as well, because coach is all about honesty as well. But does coach think coach strength is player management, or is it more specific department level when the technical stuff?
I was very frustrated as a rugby coach with the Springboks. Very, very frustrated. I had a meeting the other day, a nice coffee break with Dick, and he told me, I only understand you now. You were 10 years ahead of us. And I told him that you guys frustrated me because there was things that I wanted to do, but I didn't want to interfere in your job because I selected you to come do a job.
Yeah.
So if I take over when you need to do a job, then you will be frustrated. And when you're frustrated, you will find your comfort in players. And then we got 2 camps. So I'd rather stay back, do what you do, but you can. But what I want in my team meeting with my coaches, I would put down the lines for them. I need this. And if you can't do that, step away. I will come do it for you.
Okay.
You know? So they know what my intensity was, and they know what I wanted, and they know whatever we need and how to get there because I told them what I want. And I would never step onto a rugby field to stop anybody who's busy with something because he's doing what I told him to do in his own way.
Because what you want, Because you can't do it there as well, because the players will obviously see as well. You need it behind doors as well.
Now players coming from provinces, they never knew this kind of style of coaching. They were used to their coach being in their ears. And in under 19, some players came to me from school and they would say, Coach, what do you want me to do? How the hell can you ask me a question like that? I want you to score tries.
Play.
No, I want you to score tries. That's the only thing I want you to do. The how we will work out. And try score is the easiest thing on a Thursday because there's no opponents.
Yeah. And it's 2 and 3 and
It's only the opponents who stop you from scoring tries. So if we can work around that, if you can work around that and make them believe that whatever they do, I've got only one rule on a rugby field for my players. You can do whatever you want to do. I don't care what it is. Don't lose the ball. That's my only rule. Don't lose the ball. You just look after our ball.
And this coaching philosophy about empowering the players, empowering your coaches around you, has that always been Coach Peter's way of coaching?
Yeah, definitely. At school you come with a mathematic problem. There's a little boy who solves it so quick for you. In a different way. It's all about the result. So why would you now go back and say, no, this is not how we do it here. No, you go on, you go do it. I'd rather than go to that boy and say, hey, come here. Oh, you clever, eh? Would you mind to help those 3 other boys there too?
Okay.
Do you understand? And that's what I did with my players too. The one thing about me is I test you a hell of a lot.
Mentally?
By doing nothing. By doing nothing, by ignoring you, by walking past you. I just test you if you're mentally strong to get over those little things. If you can get over that, I know I can leave you on a rugby field. You will get over any situation.
Oh, very interesting, eh?
Wow.
It's a different way of seeing things. But Coachy, let's talk about Coachy's coaching career as well. Obviously, Coachy probably wanted to become a Springbok. Coachy got there in 2008. But that coaching before that, going to Southern Kings, the Falca days, coaching under 19, Springboks under 19, and winning the under 21s as well. Those chapters, because you had to earn those stripes before you got to 2008 when you were announced.
Yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. They wanted you. I'm gonna say it now very different. I was a terror when I was a little boy. When I saw people doing injustice to other people, I would jump in and have big fights in the street. And then my father would give me hiding. Then I would go into the house, completely throw everything off the table, diluted the whole bed, throw off everything, and then I go into them and say, just come look what I did. And then they will come and see, and then my mother say, what? The whole morning I was busy cleaning up and now. And then my father gave me hiding. Then I felt good because now he hit me for something that I deserve.
Not for the fight.
And that justice came through my life, If I see 2 people and one's really treating somebody else bad, I will just stand back and look at them, and then I will look at the reactions. And the reactions will tell me where that person will end up in life. Now, Gio Aplon were one of the guys who were too small, do this, do that. And there was big fights in selection committees about a guy like him. Very big fights. Then I won't forget at Newlands he played Blue Bulls against Western Province. And then Bakkies ran over Gio. Gio actually on the ground and Bakkies came and he hit him really he hit him hard. He got up and he played the game. And then I turned to my selectors after that. If you again gonna tell me this guy can't make it, when we played France at Newlands, the 8th man. The 8th man of France really drove into him. He did hit him. So the GPS, when it measures 8, then it's like somebody will throw you with a fridge. He measured 11.
Just see.
Stood up and scored the 2 tries afterwards. Now I had the eye to actually identify not talent, because talent is something that's got to sell by date. You go out and you look for potential, because potential is the things that you can better. So what you can't measure, you can't better, you can't measure talent. but you can measure the potential. And the guy with the most potential will be the guy that will be there. I spoke to Skalk one day. I said to Skalk, you're close to being dropped now. And he said, but I look at my game, I'm better than, he mentioned the names. I say, yeah, that's true. But your potential, you are playing almost 30% below your potential. So I'm dropping you because you're not giving me 100%. That guy will still be weaker than you, but he's giving 100% to the team.
And who was the player that coached with the most potential? If coach can identify maybe one or two players.
Yeah, becoming a Springbok, everybody.
But
the most untapped potential was Juan Pienaar. We messed up Juan Pienaar in this country. Me and what's his name at the Sharks, because they had a fly-off, Terry Lacroix.
Yes.
Yeah, they brought him in and they made Pienaar a scrum off. And Pienaar is a natural fly-off. He's such a good rugby player that you can play him anywhere and he will be better than some of the players that play there. But under pressure, he will fold in any other position except that fly-off.
Jesus.
And when he played for us, we scored three and more tries in tests.
When he played fly-off, of course.
Fly-off, yeah.
And coach spoke about potential as well. Coach spoke also about Gio Applon. But now these days, you look at Cheston Colby, Kurtley Arends, guys that's small in stature. I mean, in Coach Jake's days, there wasn't nothing about that. Even in Coach Heineke's days as well. Was it something you saw, giving guys opportunity like Gio, I mean, myself as well, playing in the centers. We had Pat Lambie, was also a smaller type of guy. Giving them the opportunity, even though the potential is more important and the heart is more important than the size?
Few things. Who don't I want to play against? That's number one. If I don't want to play against you, I will pick you. Because if I don't want to play against you, somebody else don't want to play against you either. That's number one. Number two, what is your try scoring rate? A rugby player is there to score tries. That is why, what's his name? Our scrum half now, in the Sharks, Grant Williams, is to me is the best scrum half.
I agree.
He's the best scrum half not because he's better than any other scrum half. He's the best scrum half because he can score tries. He scores more tries than any other scrum half. So when I need tries like Ricky, then they will score the try for you. Outside the structure of the game, the potential he does have, and that individual brilliance that he brings to the game, that will come to the fore then. Adrian Jacobs, Johan de Jongh. If you look at the guys that I brought in that other people didn't want, is the guys who could score tries. And this is what this game is all about. If you go to golf, people who play golf, they don't go to the gym. They hit golf balls.
Yes.
These guys, if you want to go to the gym, I don't care, but they score tries. And that's the reason why. That is my first yardstick that I use. Can he score tries? So if he couldn't score tries at Province, I wouldn't have bothered to bring him to me because I could find anywhere else a bigger guy who can be a robot.
Yeah, systematic players.
You understand what I'm trying to say to you? But he had that extra in him that I couldn't coach. And the things that I can't coach makes the player an extraordinary player in my mind. Because if I can coach you something, it's ordinary, I can give it to anybody. But if you can give me something that I can't give to you, I'll take it.
And how did, look, Coachy, for me sitting here thinking, you're saying that if you can't coach it, that's a good thing. But sometimes I find that other coaches aren't that way. How did coach come to that point where, look, there's certain stuff that I won't be able to teach a player that is God given to him.
Yep.
How did coach get to that point where I'm fine with myself in my ability that this player is special, I can't coach him that, and that's okay.
You gave the answer in your question, but to sum it up, we call it maturity. If you mature as a person, you don't live through other people's successes, and you can celebrate it. But the one thing that you said, God-given talent. And that is so important, that the best 2 players in my 4 years, the best 2 players who couldn't be moved over a ruck was Juan de Jongh and Hightlights.
Justice.
And they were so small.
So, uit die sigaret langs my coach.
No, what we want to say is that don't be misled. Don't be misled by bulk. There's more to it. And we gave up natural skills. Not us only. The American basketball, you will never find a Jordan again because they also went for the big guys now. Rugby, the rugby is at its worst stage at the moment. A lot of people say that the world did catch up with New Zealand. No, the world didn't catch up with New Zealand. Rugby went so far backward that New Zealand fall into the same trap as everybody else. I made a statement. I made a statement that the team that I coached, that players were better than these players. And somebody said, no, these players are very good. I say, okay, I'm not saying they're bad. What I'm saying is, when my players, called my players, you understand what I'm trying to say?
Coach's era.
The players that I coached,
yes,
that's a better team. When my players went back to the unions and they played for the unions, if you didn't know, you could see they're a Springbok. Today's players, when they go play the unions, they're very average. They don't stand out like, wow, that's a Springbok. Wow, that's a Springbok. Only 1 or 2 you can see in club rugby or in provincial rugby that they stand out, wow. But the rest are very average. But as a team, they quite well. So one of the things I can mention here too, the best players in my mind don't become Springboks. The best team becomes Springboks. And they're a great team. So they worthy to be there as Springboks. But as individuals, I can say to you now, I'm not taking away what they achieved. I'm actually grateful. They did a hell of a thing to our country. And I'm not taking anything away. I think just coaching became so mediocre that we don't get the best out of the individual anymore. Now, if I told these guys, through my fitness guy, we're going to sprint the 50 meters, there was no way that the props would run with these guys. But look at today, they just mediocre, go through they push themselves to become better at practice, at games, in anything else. I wasn't a big fan of the GPS.
Why not, coach?
Where as soon as they get off the field, they want their readings. You know? I don't want that. Now, if the reading is as good as last week, they're fine. If you don't know it, you might push yourself because now I can tell you, you know what, you were actually not bad today, but there are 3 times there that you missed that and now something you work to. But now you got your own reading. What's he talking about? That's the only reason why I didn't like it, you know. But it's still a bloody good tool. I'm not saying it's not a good tool. It's a very good tool. But if a player comes to the Springboks and he don't understand that he must give 100% in that 2 hours that he's on the field, then it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't
sometimes
belong
the meters is more important than the involvement. How many passes did I make? How did I grow
Listen
up?
to me, sir.
But also didn't you might be different, but the GPS kind of also creates a ceiling because it tells you sometimes, no, I was tired, but in your mind you could have gone further or you don't. So
the same thing with tackles. Tackles made. You can ask him. I wasn't a big guy to go through stats and videos. You can ask him. We did it very quick because you get caught up in those little things. You can look in at the stats of players previously when tackle count was so big. They never carry ball. They never do the hard yards. They don't clean. They just stand, tackle, get up and wait for the next one. Tackle, wait for the next one because they want their tackle count to be the highest on a Monday when they sit back in the video session.
Coach, I want to also know about Springbok rugby, coach's era, and also the era of today. And coach, you mentioned it now. I mean, getting the best out of the players. Where are we at the moment when it comes to Springbok? Obviously, we've said that it's pretty much the best era we could have had in Springbok rugby, winning 2 Rugby World Cup medals.
The money that we pumped into the game now is so much more. We had 30, 40 guys. They got 80 guys to come to camps to prepare.
Yes.
So the next level guy is actually almost there, you know. So I think that in its own is a very good thing. But by doing that, you know what I did with you guys. If you didn't make the 23 or the 26, I send you back, go play. Because you're here to play rugby. You're not here to watch the game. I will get people to pay the game to watch the game. Go play, you know. And when I need you, I know you're match fit. We're not doing that today, a hell of a lot. So you can see that our mindset is not as great as it should be. The one thing that I can also say about the past is that we prepared for games. We never prepared for teams. We wanted to go win the games, not the teams, you know, because if you prepare for teams, then you become like England. If England play against the Springboks, they're a better team. If England play against whatever small team, they're not that good, you know. So that's when you prepare for teams. But if you prepare for games, you prepare to go be the best rugby player that you can be on a rugby field.
Doesn't matter who you play.
Doesn't matter who you play, just to give back what God gave to you, to give it back to everybody out there who don't have that opportunity.
Yes,
there might be a boy in a wheelchair with more rugby talent than you if you weren't in a wheelchair. And that is the reason why we play the game, to make them also feel good about what they're watching us.
And talking about feeling good, partner, coaching this morning and the short guy goes through his stats of Coach Peter de Villiers. 2009 particular stood out for me. Tri-Nations champs, British and Irish Lions winning campaign. First Springbok team to beat the All Blacks at Carisbrook, Dunedin. Sitting here, listening to that. How does Coach Peter feel about that? The fact that you could achieve, or your team, not the team, could achieve that in 2009, which still some people debate is one of the best Springbok teams ever, especially the 2009 Springbok team.
It came on the back of 2008. We must never forget that. I'm at my best when people are negative towards me, because I thrive on negativity. Yeah? There's a saying that I don't want to use it, but I will mention it. I know where I am and I don't care a damn. So just think how I felt 2008, taking over from a world winning Springbok coach, World Cup winning Springbok coach. You've been announced as not there for rugby reasons only. I know how good I were, but by saying that, the general public took their cue of me on that statement. But that wasn't the biggest problem I had. The World Cup winning Springboks also took their cue from the coach on what was said there. So it took me a year to win the trust. Do you understand what and in that year, one thing happened. In that year, one thing happened that helped me. And it was Ricky's try in Dunedin that helped me build up the belief, because everybody believed then, wow, then it's not too bad, you know. The players start believing in each other. You must understand, there was a hell of a lot of racism in the team when I was there. It's not because of me, it was because of the history of the country, you know. I look at talent, I never look at the color of a player. And to me, I knew I was better than a hell of a lot of players, but nobody looked at me because I was two. And I never had that in my mind to my players, you know. So the fights that went into selecting a squad, not the team. I selected the team, but selected squad was big. It was huge. And what I got right is that I wanted to change the culture of the team. But you can't change the culture if there's the same culture at the back, you know. So I had to change the culture. So what I did, I never, and he can vouch for it, I never selected less than 8 black players in my squad from day one. Because what I did, looking at what I got and what we do have in a country, I built a team culture on honesty. So the culture of the team was honesty. If you don't make a tackle, you're not honest. If you're late, you're not honest. So it's nothing to do with color, nothing to do with where you come from. And that was very successful to us. And it only came through in 2009 when we could go on that team building in Durban, swimming with the sharks. Now, a black guy like me who don't even, the closest I get to water is when I drink it. You know? to jump into the sea with sharks, you know, and all those kind of. But you have to do it just to show the other guys, I'm not scared. I'm bloody scared. But I can't swim. I can't do it. But I had to go do it to go show them, you need to do it, all of you. And if you look at the videos of that thing, how AD struggled. Because I knew how bad it was for him, you know. But if you saw how everybody helped him, they surrounded him, they helped him in the water to get through it, and we start building that team there. And when we left that 3 days of that camp, I knew that bond. I knew we
going somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I was a coach of the emerging box. They asked Heineke to coach the team, and Heineke said, no, there's not enough time. Then they asked Dick Mio, and Dick said, no, there's not enough time. They gave me the team 3 days before I left. So I selected guys who can play the game. Those who didn't make the Springbok side, most of them, and then guys who can up and coming. But I killed them. For 2 days, no rugby. I killed them in training because I wanted to take them back to the apartheid years. In the apartheid years, we had one enemy. Everybody wanted to fight apartheid. That was our enemy. So I wanted them to think I'm the enemy. So all of them, even if they Scout Brits who just didn't make the Springbok side then and all of them couldn't cry about not making the Springbok side because they were annihilated and broke down and they were lying on that field for fitness for 2 days, I'm telling you now. And then I walk around them, kick them, come on, because now here's the enemy now. And then the second day, when Solly de Villiers said, fuck him. Fuck him. We're going to show him today. He can't break us. He's a nobody. He doesn't understand anything. Now we want to take it out on us. And now I knew I've got a team.
Yeah. They connected.
Because now they're galvanized.
Now we can do all the rugby thing in the boardroom because they're clever enough. They're clever enough to play the game. That's what they're there for. But they wouldn't do it as good as they were if they weren't a team. And we went to go win the trophy.
So since then, day one, it was challenges for Coachy. I mean, with the president's remarks as well. But also like...
And 2009 then came with big results, you know.
Yeah, it showed them a little bit.
For me also, I knew I could lose my job that year because I did put that white band around my jacket when Buckies were...
Yes. For justice, yeah.
So I knew I could lose my job, but I couldn't not stand with my team. No, whatever happened to me is fine as long as they can see I will stand with them, you know.
Yeah.
Coach, sorry, partner, I want to ask Coach, and it might not be connected to rugby, but I think I might take a learning from it. How do Coach get to a point where what other people think is not important? Because sometimes for me, Rudy Paige is something I struggle with, even though I don't say it out loud, Coach. But sometimes people's opinion, I was like, I'm not going to do that because what is the people going to think about? Or what are they going to say about this? Or I'm like this. How did coach get to a point where people's opinion doesn't matter? Because I think for me, and hopefully there's viewers out there that struggle with the same thing about society's perception about the individual. How did Coach Peter de Villiers get to that point where the opinion outside doesn't matter?
Bible. The Bible. Don't put your trust in people. People are envious. People will come to you and say bad things about this program today because they wanted to sit there. Not here where I sit there.
Yeah.
They wanted to sit there. I knew that from day one when and I had my first meeting that I had with all my coaches. Fitness coach, backline coach, scrum coach, all of them. Sit down. And I sit at the head of the table, I said to them, I know one thing that you do, that you guys don't know. And that is you want my job. You don't want to be assistant. You want to be the head coach.
You just here because
so I know you want my job. Now what? There's only one way you can get my job. God won't take me away, so I won't die this 4 years. I'm telling you now. Work so hard that I get promoted so you can come in. So if a guy doesn't add value, and that is so important, distinction, right and wrong, good and bad. We get stuck on right and wrong. People get divorced because of right and wrong. People fight in bars because of right and wrong. That wasn't part of our thing in the Springboks. It's all about good and bad. If it's good for you, then you ask the next question. Is it good for my family? If it's good for if you get a yes, it's good.
Yeah.
If it's not good, it's bad, then you don't do it. So if somebody criticizes me, is it good for me? Yes. It's good for me. Because it makes me realize that life is not about winning only. It's losing is the same thing. And as a child, I made it my own. I went to my father to ask him something. And yes was as good as no. When my father said no, I would turn back and tell him, you are giving me something I have already. I had a no because I came here. So you didn't give me anything. So you didn't say anything to me. So it can't hurt me. It can't.
Yeah.
When they give me a yes, it's a bonus. So when somebody says bad things about you, there's a reason why they do it. Now that reason you don't know. Now why do you want to worry about things that you don't know?
Out of your control a bit, yeah. And is there a misconception about you as well? Like, I mean, coach is one that stands for something and don't fall for anything, which is very good and you're honest about it. But what do you think people doesn't know about you?
My daughter came to me at the Kings then, and she was still very young. And we went to Wimpy. That was the same year that Wimpy opened the menu for breakfast. And she went into PE. She came for the holiday while we were practicing there. I took her to Wimpy and she went to buy a breakfast. And then the lady said to her, it's fine, she can go. She said, no, I can't go. I didn't pay. She said, no, you paid. She said, no, I didn't pay. Just look there. I didn't pay. And when she looked, she said, wow. And the lady said to her, I thought you paid. She said, but I know I didn't pay. Wow. And there stand the father. If he had that experience, he would have walked with the money. And my daughter taught me a valuable lesson that day. If you know, nobody else need to know.
Stand for something. And I mean, coach, you had highs and lows as well. I mean, speaking about family as well. What did you went through those tough times off the field?
Yeah, that's part of life. That's part of life. Today I lost another friend of mine who went to school with me. Okay, we are now in that stage where the coach can take us off the field. But what I'm trying to say to you, that is part of life. When I was a teacher for 20 years, the day that I walked out of the school, I never went back to school again. I worked at Western Province. When I went to the Blue Bulls, I never went back to Western Province again. When I walked away from the Blue Bulls, I never went back there again. When I left 2011, when I left the World Cup, up till today, I was never in the offices of SARU yet again. If something is behind me, I put it behind me and I move on because I won't miss the glory of what's in front of me. So when God comes, who gives life, and He takes it back, you say, thank you for the years that I could learn. And I could speak about Claudine now, and she's the one who's been gone. But and she liked you a lot, eh? She always said, no, that man can play rugby. But anyhow, you look at the little things, and one of the things that she said while she was alive to her husband, don't ever lie to my father. He never lied to me yet. And he never broke his word to me ever in my life. So don't try to fool him. He will find you out. Now what can I get more out of her? So in the 27 years that I gave what I could, wow, because of her, I walked away from Zimbabwe because she had cancer. And they sued me for quitting my job, and I just couldn't go back and leave her alone here. When COVID came, EP asked me for injections. I said, there's no way, I'd rather leave my job. What you believe in is the only thing that can take you to the next level. Because if you walk in other people's beliefs, there's no way.
Yeah.
Ek like that.
Tap on the back, you're looking for a tap on the back all the time,
Yeah, you're looking back, And another thing I want to tell you, if somebody comes to you for any advice, don't give it because they don't want it. They want approval that they are right. People don't come to you for advice to get your advice. They want just to know, am I right? My wife is not a good lady for me. I want to get divorced. Yeah, leave her. Now you talk yes, I'll do it. Thank you so much. You say, whoa, what did you do wrong? Didn't you actually break down her image?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you know? People don't want advice. They want approval.
Ek gaat hom in die sakkie sit, coach. Ek gaat hom by my hou. Ek gaat hom bere. The same with not obviously the outside noise and going to the Bible for that, because sometimes is ietsie waarmee ek not struggle, but rugby sometimes, coach, you obviously always wanted that approval and stuff, and I've taken it with me in my adult life. So thanks for that advice, coach.
We look at you, the people you played with. In the era, the people that you played against, not with, against and with. And I ask you, who are the best scrum halves that you played against? There will come immediately one or two names in your head.
There's one specific one.
Yeah, and there you lost it already.
Tupi.
Yeah, there you lost it already.
Okay.
Because there's only one good scrum half when I played.
That's Coach Peter.
It's me. I can't help if the coaches or the selectors were stupid enough not to select me. So you don't give credit to other people who's in the same trade as you. You give credit to people who sing new songs and who paint new things. Stuff that you can't do. You give them the credit.
Nou, hier, de raak is af. And het massive coach here, obviously our time is up but the appreciation I have for this conversation, and I think I'm sitting here and I'm in awe currently because ek het geleer nou, just by having a conversation with you, and I'm really thankful for that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for us being able to have this conversation, and ek gaat seker vanaand nie slaap nie, want ek gaan dink.
Bietjie leer, I mean, coach done a lot, and I mean, credit to what coach have achieved throughout not only the rugby career, but on and off the field as well, highs and lows of it. And I mean, the one thing that actually stood out for me, especially in our time, the 4 years, was when I asked you, coach, how are you doing? Your words was always, even the bad times are good. And I mean, and you spoke about it just now, I mean, how you see life, you know, what is your next challenge, how are you looking forward to, and who must get on your boat as well, which is very inspiring for me as well. So thank you very much for making the time. And
I want to end up by saying this to you guys. Don't feel guilty if you had outgrown people. Not everybody is meant to go through the door with you that is open for you. So don't feel bad if you have outgrown people. They might be good people, like your father and mother. They're good people. They are still good people. But you outgrown them. And you outgrown somebody. You can't take them with you. You have to go alone because the purpose of God for you is bigger than what He gave you to take you to that point where you want to go take you now alone. So don't waste your time with people who need 1 second, don't give 20. And who need 20, don't give 1. God bless you guys and thanks for today.
Thank you, Coach. Yes.
Educated. Thank you very much, Coach. Yeah. And guys, Coach Peter de Villiers. Fantastic to catch up with the big man, yeah. Always
it's
good,
yeah. And just this knowledge that he transferred onto me as well, that I learned a little bit through that.
Sees the world a bit different, yeah.
Yes, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion, which I love about life. But Ruckers, it's time for us to go back in time with our Festina competition that we are currently running. I want to congratulate last week's winner that we announced in our WhatsApp channel. Okay, guys, congratulations. He or she or they will be receiving a watch valued at 6,250 Rand. Okay, guys, so honestly, that you guys know, we will only be announcing our winners on our WhatsApp channel. Our WhatsApp channel's link is below in the description. Also on all our social media platforms, the Linktree, Instagram. Go find our WhatsApp channel there. Go hit the follow and the winners will be announced there, okay? But as we mentioned in last week's episode, we will be running a 3-week consecutive watch giveaway. Okay, so number 2 will be happening right now. And the question is, Pari, in Willie Leroux's episode 48, he mentioned that his father has always supported one team even before he started playing rugby in his pro career. Okay, the question and the answer should be, what is that team that Willie Leroux's father has always supported?
Oh, interesting one. Yeah. Can it be the Stormers, the Bulls, the Sharks, the Lions, the Cheetahs?
Maybe the Crusaders.
The Blues.
I don't know. But go watch episode 48
yeah,
to find the answer.
And all entries will obviously close this Tuesday, okay? And then Wednesday in the WhatsApp channel. So go to all our social medias. Make sure you go to a Linktree and follow, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff happening. You're missing out a little bit.
And for you guys to win one of these watches that are really, really beautiful, you have to be a subscriber to the channel. You have to follow Festina South Africa, and you have to follow Behind the Ruck on all social media platforms. Competition ends Tuesday. Winner announced on Wednesday. WhatsApp channel. Everything.
Showtime, back in time indeed, yeah. Yeah. Oh, episode 91.
What a fantastic episode.
Something different, yeah. Different opinions is also important, and different views is also important, and we, the Ruckers, now inform and educate all the time, yeah.
And that is my point. I think the basis of our podcast was always to have authentic conversations, real stories and real opinions, and celebrate it that way. So for me, it was a fantastic episode, Boyki.
100%, yeah. Like spending time with you and Coachy as well.
In the upcoming weekend, there's some big Investic Champions Cup games. Anyone particular you looking out for?
Just because the Bulls are the only team, South African team.
No, Investic Champions Cup. Champions Cup.
For me, there's a couple of games. I mean, looking at Toulouse, obviously they're looking strong like always as well. But for me, when it comes to the quarterfinals, one game that stands out a little bit for me, and that is Leinster versus Glasgow Warriors. I mean, that's going to be a crack of a game if you look at the URC as well. Who's number 1? Who's number 2?
Yes.
They might be playing in the final. I know you don't like that at all, but they might play in the final, and they're looking fantastic at the moment. Looking at what Leinster did last weekend, and also Glasgow as well. So a lot of rugby looking forward to.
Do you think Glasgow can upset Leinster? You think it's possible or not?
I don't think so. Not at the current moment. I feel like Leinster is hot, and I mean, doing that to Harlequins, killing them, giving them a 0, the international players that's back, that's got a bit hurt when it came to the Six Nations. It's good to see in what form they are in. So I'm thinking the Leinster boys are very strong, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see them in the final of the URC, maybe the final of the Investic Champions Cup as well. So, and they've got a lot to prove. I mean, it's 2 to 3 years now that they haven't won anything.
Yes, fair enough. Under pressure.
They haven't won anything. And they're under pressure because even with the Six Nations, those boys want to win something. And Anjaki as well, you know, he's got standards as well.
No, but Ergie obviously mentioned how much the Leinster players are currently loving and enjoying Coach Jacques Naber. So they were phenomenal this past weekend. I'm interested to see what Coach Franco Smith has got cooking up in the kitchen for Leinster. That should be a phenomenal rugby game, so don't miss it. Enjoy the quality of rugby that is currently being played in the Investec Champions Cup. Ruckers, but that is episode 91. We've come to an end, and I want to make a special mention to SuperSport Bet that's been supporting this show throughout. Guys, please download the app, make the switch, get your skin in the game. Okay, Ruckers, also one of our associate sponsors, Ticket Pro, 2 Behind the Ruck, and also our apparel sponsor, Macron, for each and every week making us look really good. Go check out their stuff on social media. They've been in our corner, and we want to make sure that we reciprocate. I don't even know if I pronounced that word correctly. But we want to give them flowers and love and just appreciation for making sure that the lights stay
on Behind the Ruck. Yeah, okay. And keep your lights on and keep the episodes on as well. Okay. Make time for Behind the Ruck. Doesn't matter. It can be 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Doesn't matter. But let's go back to the Jack Willis episode. I mean, he was incredible man of the match this past weekend. But also guys like Kyle Steyn that's playing fantastic rugby and all the, not internationals as well, but even our South African Springbok boys. Say Behind the Ruck is your #1 rugby podcast.
Okay, smash subscribe button now. Okay. Ruckers, I'm Rudy Paige.
I'm Juan de Jongh.
And the Ruck is clear. See you next week, guys.